In this demo, we'll use vibe coding with Google AI Studio to build our own website. We'll then host this website on Google Cloud and buy a domain on GoDaddy and make our website available on our own domain. Vibe coding using AI is all the rage today, and you'll see how easy it is to go from an idea to a finished product in under an hour. Okay, so you decide to start a business and then you want to be on Google search, and for that, you need a website. And that's where you get stuck, right? You need to find a website designer, break your head telling him what you want, and then chasing that person each time you need to update your site. That's pretty annoying. Well, that's the old way of doing things. Using something known as vibe coding, you can work with AI to get your website live within minutes. Now, I'm going to show you how you can use vibe coding with Google AI Studio to design your website, and then I'll show you how you can buy a domain from GoDaddy and get your website live. Along the way, you'll see just how easy it is to use Google Cloud, and there is a free $300 credit for you to get started. It won't cost you anything to set up this website and run it for a few months. Now, I should tell you this, I'm not earning anything from any of these companies, from any of these technologies. It just so happens that our son just used this method to build the website for the Strong Brew. So I know it works reliably and well, and I just wanted to show you how it's done. We'll build a very simple website for a home bakery shop. We won't write any code, we'll let AI do that for us. The only thing you need to start off with is some Gmail account. We are going to take advantage of cloud computing to host our website. Head over to cloud.google.com and here you'll find an option to access the Cloud Console. The Cloud Console is basically the UI that you use to interact with cloud computing using Google's cloud platform. Since we were already logged in with our Gmail account, that same Gmail account is used to set up an account for us on the Google Cloud. We didn't have to do anything special. Now, once you've done this, we can go ahead and code up our app. Or rather, we let AI do that for us. Google offers this cool new feature called AI Studio at aistudio.google.com. AI Studio is a free online tool from Google that lets you easily try out and build apps using Gemini AI models through a simple intuitive interface where you chat with the model about what the app is that you want to build. Make sure you accept the terms and conditions and click on Continue. This is AI Studio. In order to build an app, click on the build link off to the left and you'll get a text box which you can use to chat with the Gemini model about the app that you want to build. Let me send my first query or prompt to Gemini. I'm a home baker and I have my own line of home goodies. Can you set up a very simple web page, nothing fancy, so I can just display my baked goods and introduce myself? AI Studio will parse this query of yours and in under 30 seconds will output a simple app. And this will be the starting point of your website. You can take a look at an app and ask AI Studio to make changes as needed. It has set up a bunch of images, but the images point to random things. Maybe you want to customize these with images of your own baked goodies. AI Studio has actually built a comprehensive web app behind the scenes. What we are looking at is a preview of the app. You can see the preview tab is the one selected. If you're interested in seeing what's going on behind the scenes, you can click on code and you can see all of the code that AI Studio has generated. The whole idea is you don't worry about the code at all. You just tell AI Studio what you want the app to look like. I'm going to make a few tweaks to the app so you know how it's done. If you were indeed a home baker, you likely have photographs of the wonderful baked goodies that you make. Simply upload a few photographs and let's ask AI Studio to incorporate these into the app. You can see that the 3 JPEG files that I uploaded are now present within this code editor. Here is my follow-up prompt. Can you please only include the 3 images that I have uploaded, cake JPEG, cookies JPEG and sourdough JPEG? Please don't use any other images. These are the baked goodies that I'd like to display in my home bake shop. This is where you'll upload your own images, not only of your own products, but your own face, maybe your own background image. These images are what will make the website your own. In a few moments, you'll find that AI Studio has made the changes to the code. Now, you don't need to worry about what those changes are. You just need to know that they have been made and test that out. Here is our home bake shop. Let's scroll down to where the baked goodies are displayed and we can't see anything. Let me tell you, don't worry about this. This is actually not an error. Anytime you specify your own local images, this preview page won't be able to display those. We'll only know if these have been set up correctly once we deploy the application to Google Cloud. Now, let's see some other changes we may want to make. Now, Instagram, Facebook, and email are the ways to get in touch. These are not wired up by default, but you can easily ask AI Studio to point these at your social media handles. Let's assume that I don't have my social media handles ready yet. Here is my follow-up prompt to the Gemini model on AI Studio. In the footer, please only show email for contact information, info@homebakeshop.com, as my social media handles are not ready yet. Let's send this prompt and have AI Studio update our website. Now you can scroll down to the bottom and verify that only the email address is displayed. I'd like to make one last change. You can see at the top right, we have the About and Goodies link. I don't want those. I only want the single page website. So please get rid of the About and Goodies links. That's my follow-up prompt, and the updated app no longer has those. Apps built by AI Studio are responsive apps, meaning they'll work on all devices. So if you switch over to the mobile view, you'll see how your application will look in the mobile view. Do a quick sanity check to make sure you're happy with the look and feel. Now, let's say you want to see how it looks when you rotate the mobile so that we are in landscape view rather than portrait view. Well, simply click on the rotate button for that. At this point, I'm happy with the app that we have. I just want you to note one thing. This image that you see behind the name of our business, this is called the hero image, and this is something that AI Studio has set up. I haven't provided this image. AI Studio automatically picks up images from a website called unsplash.com. Unsplash makes images for commercial use absolutely free. Now, here below are the images that I provided to AI Studio. They don't show up properly in the preview that AI Studio has. Now, when you're building your website, you will of course continue iterating with AI Studio to get the website to the final form that you want it to have. It's a good practice to provide images for all parts of your website rather than relying on images on a third party site. What if those images are taken down tomorrow? Your website won't have access to them then. With our website ready, we now need to do a little bit of work at the cloud computing end. Let's head back to the tab on Google Cloud. This is where our website is going to be hosted. Now, just a little bit of context. Within Google Cloud, you have to work within a project. So you can click on the default project that has been created, select new project, and give your project a name. I've called it TSP Home Bake Shop Project. This is just the logical unit that will hold the resources that we provision to host our website. Now that we have the project created, let's select that project, and you can see at the top, our project now says TSP Home Bake Shop Project. Back to AI Studio, our app is now running locally. Everything looks good. We are satisfied with it. I'll now click on the little rocket icon you see on the top right to deploy this project so it's hosted on Google Cloud. It'll basically be running on servers on Google Cloud. Your application needs a project within which it should be deployed. Select Import Project, and if your project doesn't show up here, you may need to refresh the page. Since we had just set up the project isn't available in AI Studio just yet. I'll refresh the page and click on the little rocket icon again to deploy my project to Google Cloud. I'll first import the project, and here is my project, TSP Home Bake Shop Project. Click on Import, and this project is now available within AI Studio. Select this project to indicate that your app should be hosted within this project. Now, cloud providers don't allow you to run things for free. They require you to pay for whatever resources you consume on the cloud. Since we're going to be making use of some servers to host our website, I need to set up billing on my project so I can pay Google for the resources that I consume. Click on Link a Billing Account, and it tells me, well, you have no billing accounts. So go to Manage Billing Accounts and let's create a new billing account. A billing account just holds your payment instrument. So whether you're paying by credit card or UPI, the billing account just holds that information. So I'll create a billing account called TSP Billing Account. It will then pick up my details from my Gmail account, And here you can configure the payment method that you'd like to use. I'd like to use UPI payment, but you can change this to use a credit card or a debit card if you want to. So let's stick with API. That's really so much easier than any other payment method, and click on submit and enable billing. Now this will bring up a QR code. Off the screen, I've scanned this QR code and enabled UPI payment. At this point, you don't need to pay anything. By default, when you sign up for a new Google Cloud account, you get $300 worth of free credits. But you need to set up a payment instrument, otherwise, you can't access those free credits. We've set up a billing account. Let's go back to AI Studio, hit refresh, and pick up where we left off. Click on Setup Billing once again. There is still one additional step that we need to do here before we can use Google Cloud. Click on Link a Billing Account and again Manage Billing Accounts. And there you see the billing account that we just created, TSP billing account. You need to assign this billing account to our TSP Home Bake Shop project. That's simple. Click on the tab that says Your Projects, and this will list out all of the projects in your account. There is our project TSP Home Bake Shop. Go ahead and click on the three dots, select Change Billing, and then select the billing account that we just created, TSP Billing Account. This will ensure that our UPI payment instrument is associated with this project. Any cloud resources that we use in this project will be paid for using the UPI payment instrument that we'd configured. Back to AI Studio and back to what we were trying to do, trying to deploy our website to the Google Cloud. At this point, we've completed all of the prerequisites at Google Cloud's end, and when we hit refresh, our website will be deployed to the Google Cloud. And you can see the URL where we can access our website. Simply click on the URL and you'll see our site hosted on the cloud. But wait, this is not exactly how our site looked when it ran locally. I found that sometimes these image references to external sites such as unsplash.com, which is what AI Studio has used, take some time to load. Sometimes they don't load at all. Don't rely on external images that AI Studio puts in. This is what I had mentioned earlier. You need to set up your own images for every image displayed on the site. Notice the images of our baked goods, they show up just fine here in the final app. In fact, these images look amazing. You already know how we set up these images on our website. Just do the same thing for the hero image and any other image that you want to have on your site. When you work with AI Studio to build your web app, well, you have to spend a lot of time talking to the model, interacting with it, and setting up the app exactly how you'd like it to be. You won't know that everything is working perfectly till you deploy the final app. Meanwhile, I'll just give you a sneak peek into what really happened on the Google Cloud. Click on this link here that says Open in Google Cloud, and this will take you to the service where our app is deployed. This service is called Cloud Run, and it packages your app and then deploys and runs it on the Google Cloud. All of the configuration and versioning of your app is abstracted away from you. AI Studio and Google Cloud just take care of it behind the scenes. Now you can keep making changes and deploying new versions of your app. And each time you deploy a new version, it'll show up here as a revision. If you look at the URL of your website, it's some strange URL. What about our website's friendly name? Let's set that up and let's point that friendly name to this app that we have hosted on Google Cloud. Friendly URLs for websites need to be purchased from a domain name registrar, and a very famous one is GoDaddy.com, and that's the one I'm going to use. We'll create an account on GoDaddy and buy our website name here. Let's sign in. Now, if you already have an account, you can just sign in or you just create an account. And I'm just going to continue with Google. I'm already logged in with my Gmail account and I just use that to sign in to GoDaddy. You may have a number of website names in mind, but whether those URLs are available, well, you'll only know by searching. So let's say I want my website name to be tspHomeBakeShop.com, and it seems that it's available for purchase for rupee 1. So I'm going to click on Make It Yours right there. This friendly name that you're purchasing is referred to as a domain name. And it's not something that you buy once and it's yours forever. You generally purchase it for a certain number of years. I'm just going to purchase this for 1 year. GoDaddy offers a bunch of add on products for our simple website that's not really needed. So I'm just going to ignore those and stick with the basic domain name purchase for 1 year. Click on Continue to Cart. Next, of course, is you have to pay for your domain. I'm going to select UPI as a payment option once again. I specify my virtual payment address here at OK Access, OK SBI, etc. And then I hit review order, and that will take me to the next page. Once you've confirmed your billing information, you can click on complete purchase. And that's it. We've bought the domain name for our website. Now you might have to wait about 5 minutes for the purchase to go through on GoDaddy. And once you've done that, you can go to your main account and select the My Products option. Once your domain purchase has been verified and has gone through, you should see a page that looks somewhat like this. And now on the left, you need to hit domain. When people hit www.tspHomeBakeShop.com, we want them to be directed to our website that's running on Google Cloud. This requires updating the DNS records for our domain. Domain name system records tell the internet how to find your website. So when you type your website's URL on the browser, the internet will know where to find your website. This mapping is what we'll set up next. How do we get the internet to go from www.tspHomebakeshop.com to our website? In order to point our domain name set up on GoDaddy to Google Cloud, we need to head over to Google Cloud and get some information. Click on Domain Mappings here on the left. This is where we have to tell Google Cloud, I have my domain name on GoDaddy, verify it, and set up the mapping so I can have my domain name point to my website running on Google Cloud. Click on Add Mapping, and this will bring up a dialog that will walk you through the entire process. First, you select a service you want to map to. This is the service that holds our website. Since we are working within the Home Bake Shop project, that's the only service that will be available here. Once you select that, the next step is to select a verified domain. Now, we don't have a verified domain. This means we have to verify our domain. Select this option and specify the name of our domain. tspHomebakeshop.com. No www, no http, nothing. Click on Continue and you'll see that Google Cloud now prompts you to verify the domain. Google Cloud wants you to prove that this domain is indeed owned by you. It's not somebody else's domain. And you can click on Verify in Search Console, where you'll just specify the name of domain, and Google Cloud will connect with GoDaddy, ask you to log in with your GoDaddy credentials, and verify that you indeed own the domain. Click on Continue, and this will start the process for Google Cloud to connect to GoDaddy and access some records there to verify that the domain belongs to you. Start verification. Click on Connect, and if you're not logged into your GoDaddy account, you'll be prompted to log in. Since you're already logged in, you'll find that the verification goes through just fine. Google has verified that you own the domain by modifying the domain to add a new record that tells Google, yes, the domain belongs to you. Once Google Cloud has verified your domain, we can go back to our previous step. Your domain will now show up in the verified domains list once you refresh this dialog. Notice our verified domain there, TSP Home Bake Shop. Google is confident that it's our domain, and that's why it shows up here. Click on Continue, and then Google will give you a bunch of information. These are DNS records, and we need to add this to our domain on GoDaddy. These records are pointers to the internet as to where your website lives. In more technical terms, these records hold the IP addresses behind which your website is hosted. I'm now going to head over to GoDaddy and copy these records over to our domain name. Here is our domain on GoDaddy. Click on Manage DNS. This is where we'll configure DNS records. DNS records, remember, tell the internet how to find your website. I'm now going to add new DNS records corresponding to the entries that we saw on Google Cloud. So the first type of record is the A record. An A record tells the internet to map this domain name to this IP address, and that's where our website runs. So make sure type is A, name should be @ and the value should be the IP address that you copy over from what Google Cloud shows you. And then go ahead and add the 4 IP addresses corresponding to A records. Once you're done, make sure that the IP addresses match what Google Cloud showed us. Do a quick check, everything seems to match. We are done with the A records, and now we can concentrate on the quadruple A records. The quadruple A records map a domain name to an IPv6 address. Now, in exactly the same way as before, add the 4 IPv6 addresses and make sure they match what Google Cloud showed us. That completes the first part of our DNS record updation. Click on Save All Records. We are not fully done yet. There is one last bit of configuration that we still need to do. When a domain is created, GoDaddy automatically adds a default A record to the domain. You can see the one at the very bottom here, which says parked. Now, we don't want that default record anymore. We want the domain to point to our site. So go ahead and click on the delete button to get rid of this default record and confirm deletion. Now there's one more record that we need to change. That is the CNAME record, which currently has www.tsphomebakeshop.com. The CNAME record maps one domain name to another domain name. For example, our domain is just tspHomeBakeShop.com, but I want www.tspHomeBakeshop.com to go to the same site. In order to configure this, I need to go back to Google Cloud and hit refresh. Here you'll see the first of our domain mappings. This is the domain mapping that we just set up. I'm now going to add a new mapping. The service to map to is the same, the Home Bake Shop. This is the service that hosts our website, and then you need to specify a subdomain. www.tsbhomebakeshop.com is actually a subdomain. A subdomain is a smaller section or extension of your main website's domain, and it's used to organize different parts of your site. Let's say we had a goodies section on our site. We may have a subdomain called goodies.tspHomebakeshop.com. www, which is commonly used in all domain names, is also a subdomain, strangely enough. And we need an explicit domain mapping for this. Click on continue and this will give you a CNAME DNS record that we have to add to our website on GoDaddy. Back once again to where we were configuring DNS records on GoDaddy and find the existing CNAME entry and just get rid of it. This is the default entry that GoDaddy added. This is not correct, so we need to delete this and confirm deletion. We'll add our own CNAME entry next. Click on Add New Record and follow the same process as before. Type is of course CNAME, name is www, and value is ghs.googlehosted.com. Verify this entry against what Google Cloud displayed, and now we're all set. We've updated our DNS records and our domain name, our friendly tspHomebakeshop.com, will point to our website hosted on Google Cloud. DNS records are basically like distributed yellow pages, and the internet uses them to figure out where your site is hosted. Now, it turns out that DNS records take about 1 to 4 hours to update and reflect across the entire internet. So I waited for about 2 to 3 hours, and now you can see the green check boxes next to the mapping. The records have been propagated across the internet. Let's click on the first link, just tspHomebakeshop.com, and there is our site hosted on our URL. Unfortunately, we are still having issues with images that AI Studio set up. You'll find that it's kind of random. Sometimes the images show up and sometimes they don't. Just all the more reason to use your own images. Let's make sure that www.tspHomebakeshop.com works, and you can see that indeed it does. And here the images seem to show up just fine. Our website has been successfully deployed and is now available on our domain.